Greetings, programs. How was everyone this evening? Sorry for the long wait. I got trapped. Trapped by a YouTube video. It's my own fault, really. So how is everyone this evening? Yep, I sure am somewhere. Everybody had an alright week? It has been a busy week for me. Something going on all the time. I'm currently sans Barry. She's off with family right now.
Oh, no, man.
Won't see her for a little bit yet. And $20 from Platinum Venus. Thank you very much. This is Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Platinum Venus. So it's just me and Muffin has decided that she wants all of my attention at all times. Or she wants to eat my plant. One of the two. Yeah, otherwise, trying to get some work done around the house. Next big thing for me is going to be, probably tomorrow, I'm going to try to install a ceiling fan. That's going to be real fun. What else we got going on? We have, yesterday was Game Dev, still working on the Auto Battler. At this point, I've got most of the backlog of updating done, starting to work on new content. Just a small update coming this time around. Small update coming this time around. But that's just because we've had so much going on in the background. A lot of work going into this effectively nothing update. Tomorrow, we are back into the Backworld demo. Probably going to be finishing up the demo tomorrow, since it is only a demo. We're still waiting on the full release of the game. And I've actually been contacted by a few other people with Steam keys for games that I'm reasonably excited about. So we're going to be taking a look at stuff afterwards. I mean, following week at this point, I'm sure. Actually, following week is going to be community night. Not sure what we're doing yet. If anybody has any thoughts or prayers, let me know. May play OJ, though, because the plushie that some guy sent me actually came in. Finally. Took forever. Regular video-wise, I have, as I've mentioned before, fallen behind on everything. But I have gotten a lot of stuff put together, and I'm slowly getting it through the pipeline to all of you. So I'm hoping tomorrow we can get a lot of stuff put together, and videos will be kicking off. I'm excited. So all said, let's take a look at Fez again. So last time, we were getting a little stumped. Because there are only a handful of puzzles left, and I had no idea how to solve any of them. I did just a smidge of looking around to see if I could get some kind of hint, and I do in fact have some kind of hint. So this puzzle, the one we're at right now, is absolutely not something I ever would have figured out. I'm going to get back to this one, because This puzzle is actually a two-part puzzle. The first part I successfully did, entirely on my own, and it involved figuring this out and looking at some other things. So the first half of this puzzle I did entirely on my own. The second half of this puzzle, the community has not yet figured out how to do legitimately. The entire community has only figured this out by brute forcing it. So we're going to get back to the second half of this puzzle because obviously if it took the entire community working together to brute force it, I'm sure not going to figure it out on my own. Now there are a few other options around for us. There's this puzzle that I could try to do. This puzzle is a little bit obtuse for me. You can figure it out, but it's a little obtuse for me, and I don't know if I ever really would have figured it out on my own. Otherwise, what are we all looking for? So this is the one that needs everything unlocked before we can go there. So we'll get back to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and head here. Man, at this point in the game, I kind of wish I had fast travel. There's apparently a code to let you, like, fly. And by post-game, it's almost encouraged that you figure that out. But I don't know what it is, so I'm not gonna. So I'm back in this room. I want to go to Lighthouse. Okay, that's Lighthouse. It's probably this door. This puzzle, I feel like I would have figured out if I actually sat down to do it. Because this next puzzle is one of the only other ones that I was having trouble with, which is figuring out what the pillar with the little dot in it is. That pillar right there, you can see. And I had no idea what to do with that. I feel like I would have figured it out if I had actually spent the time coming here to think about it. Because what you have to do is come here and use our newfound ability. And you can see something over there. Hey, Frog. Hey, Frog, can you, like, move? I kind of need to see that, actually. Oh my goodness, Frog. And this is why I feel like I would have figured it out. I couldn't figure it out before because we weren't in post-game before. Now that we are in post-game, had I actually come here and bummed around, I probably would have hit this button and looked around. And that's really all you need to figure it out. So this puzzle, now, is... Can I do it from first person? Up, left, right, up, left, up, right, up. I don't think it's going to let me do it from first person. Okay then, so from here, this is up, left, right, up, left, up, right, up. And there we go! I was actually worried for a second that I couldn't. I was doing the puzzle wrong. But yeah, that is gold! And now there are a couple other of those puzzles. So I guess that's our next goal. We're going up here next, because I'm pretty sure there's another of that exact puzzle. There's like 3 or 4 of these we're going to be able to solve. Just with that alone. So we're going up, so I can only assume that means going up the lighthouse. But we can't actually go up the lighthouse. Sure, we gotta go in the lighthouse. Jerk. Yeah, expected you to enter post-game earlier. Potentially. Wait, no, what am I doing? I don't need to go up here. Just kind of hoping there was water down there. They probably expected you to enter post-game earlier? Because we were given access to the end of the game quite a while ago. Okay, that's not where I'm trying to go. And we weren't even told that that was post-game. It was just, hey, here's a cool place. And who's not gonna try to go in there, other than me? Okay, so from here we're going up. And we're looking for... looking for Tree World. Feels like kind of a sketchy jump anytime you gotta jump. Huh. Okay, what do you got for me? Aha! Alright, so that one is hard to read from here, right? That is definitely hard to read from here. Okay, right, right, left, 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 up, down, jump. Heck yeah. So next up, up. Oh, that means we gotta climb the mushrooms. Climbing the mushrooms is always kind of a pain. Right there, nice and easy. And then this one is left, jump, right, up, down, left, right, jump. Okay, we got one more right there. So we're looking for whatever that is. There, Pillar, what do you got for me? Where am I looking? Looking right there. Okay, so this one is... What is that? Left, left, down, down, right, right, up, up. That was a weird one, but I'll take it. I wonder if you can do these in either order, because I also could have looked at this as down, down, left, left, up, up, right, right. I wonder if that would have counted. Okay, so we still got puzzles. 29, 32. So we are still missing 3 anti-cubes. That's a fun-looking little hand. Okay. This one is a little frustrating. But that may be the next one we're going to. Ooh, can I do that while I'm streaming? We'll see what happens. Okay, so we're going to the square room. Where is the door? Because that's where I came from. Maybe it's over here. No. Can I see it in the distance on any of these, so I at least know which direction I'm looking for? Ah, probably over here. I didn't actually look. I hope this is the right one. Yes. Don't like it here. Kinda spooky. Don't like it here, kinda spooky. Okay. So here's the thing with this puzzle, and we kind of figured this out before. This puzzle is legitimately waiting on real time. So you just have to come back to this puzzle at a designated time. Now what you can do is adjust your system time. Because the one that we did before was based on, I think, minutes. So every minute, it would go, the clock would go around to the top. So all we had to do was wait for it to go around to the top. The next one, I think it's this blue one, is based on hours. So in approximately 45 minutes, this will work its way around to the top. So let's go ahead and set this to about 10:15. Okay. Okay, let's try 10:20. Close. We can go maybe another 5 minutes. And there it is. You only have to get it close. And now only 2 remain, green and white. So if the last one was hours, the next one is days. Now I don't know which one it is. Which one is which. So we're going to go 10:25, let's say 11:25, and we'll see what changes. I think that was the green one. Oh, not quite. We're off now. Oh, I gotta change it to AM. Close. Close enough. And that leaves only one. So if the last one was days, this last one is weeks. Now that I've changed my system clock, does anybody know what time it is? It's 9. I'm going to set it back to 42 p.m. I looked at my clock to go I gotta reset my clock. What time is it? And I looked at my clock and went, oh, right. So let's just push it forward a day and see what happens. Push it forward another day, see what happens. Oh, we went too far. Ooh, interesting. What is this one if it's flying around that much? Okay, that did move it forward. Moved it forward a little bit more. I'm just moving it by smaller increments now. We're very close. Yeah, now we're too far. So it's earlier in the day than that. Aha! No! We were so close! There it is. Let's go! Incredible! You found every single cube and anti-cube. That's quite an achievement. If I were you, I'd go back to that Stargate. Yeah, not much of a clock anymore, are you? I gotta set it back to whatever time it actually is right now. Yeah, that's right. There were, in fact, 3 anti-cubes in this one screen. Now, we still have puzzles left, though. There are 3 puzzles remaining, but we should go down here first. That one. Yeah, that one. That's where we're going next, because this is where we can go now that we've unlocked all the cubes. So we're going back to the Stargate. Did that burned map? I'm not sure what you mean. Okay, since we're back here... Oh, the burned map. Yeah, the burned map led to the black obelisk. We have not yet completed the second half of that puzzle. Okay, so where do I want to go? Probably to this one, I would guess. I think it's this one. Okay, so we are going towards Bell. So that's Lighthouse. That's the Arch. That's the Bell. And then from Bell, we are going to Tree. There it is, there's Tree. Open that door up! So there's not really a lot here. If you really look at it, though, this is kind of a hint as to what we have left to do. It's a heart, yes, but that heart is divided into 3 cubes. Which you can especially see as soon as it hits profile. Front profile. Which means we need 3 more cubes. These 3 remaining cubes are, in fact, the 3 unsolved puzzles that we have left, and they are all effectively the most difficult puzzles in the game. Wow, it's actually gold. That's a little surprising. So we have the 3 most difficult puzzles left in the game to do. I'm actually a little bit curious what happens if we just go beat the game normally again. Like, now that we have anything, does anything change if we just beat the game again? I don't remember climbing down this, so I'm willing to believe. Nope, not that one. Yeah, that leads to tree. That's the door I was looking for. Okay then, from here we want to go... We have 3 left. We want to go there. Let's do this one first. Let's go to face. Okay, that's face behind me. Is that where we're going? No, that's not where we're going. Is this where we're going? No. Is down here where we're going? There we go. Okay, so what we had deciphered of this thus far. Let me open my notes. So this side says, please answer this security question. What's my name? And then this side says, security question hint, my first half is what it is. My second half is half of what made it. So what is this it? Well, I don't know. This is one that... Sure is a big book. There we go. That's how you do it. So, I'm going to straight up look this one up, because this one is complicated. And I think it involves this book, and of course transcribing the entire book. That is not... I would like... That told me the answer. I would like to know what leads to that. I would also kind of like to know what this book says, because I think this... Maybe this book doesn't have anything to do with it. I'd still like to know what this book says. Yes, the owls also gave hints to this room. But I didn't write that down at the time, so I'm just a little out of luck. That is still not explaining the answer. That is telling me the answer. And I once again would kind of like to know what this book says, even though I don't think it's necessarily... I would also like to know what the owls say, if I can look that up. Can I do this? Can you guys see this if I do this? So this says it's a video guide to this book. It's just telling me how to find the book. It's not helpful. Okay, so the deal with this book is you have to you of course have to decode all of this. And then even after doing that, it's still gibberish. I swear I saw something somewhere that explained how exactly to read this thing. And I'm having trouble with that. Trouble finding that again, so I'm just going to have to tell you and explain. So, looking at this book, you can decode all of this, and if you do, it's still gibberish. But what you have to do is not read it per page, but instead read it three-dimensionally. Which is to say, imagine all of these characters, and if they were laid out in a plane right here, and then behind that plane was another group of characters, and behind that was another group of characters. Now that will make you a three-dimensional block of characters. So instead of trying to read this on only one page, you have to rotate this block of characters to get other readings. And this actually gives you a number of haikus, I guess? It's poems. It's one large poem, I think. It decodes, though, at the very end, can read it, but I'm actually curious. Where's my transliteration? So F. I admittedly have no idea how to read this thing. Maybe the letters on the left are important? What would that be? P... A... E... A... E... P... A... E... A... E... B... U... B. Okay. Well, I can't figure out how you're supposed to read this. But people much smarter than I have figured it out. And what it reads down to in the end is... I don't have anything weird showing. From out of nowhere, impossible visitors, our benefactors, watching over us in the hidden folds of space, in front of behind, give the golden gift, a deep revelation, our eyes wide open, shapes to tessellate with sacred geometry, an empire to build, a new perspective, things unseen but always there, a new direction, the hexahedron, the 64-bit name of God, the point of origin, a pattern, a code, a deep understanding, a gate to the stars, all of time and space, and the space outside of space. Where does it end? What's interesting is some of these lines we've already read, written around somewhere else, so I can only assume that the intention of this book is that it is effectively well, I got that whole book on the first page. That it's effectively the world's history. Because we have found elsewhere in the world a plaque saying those last couple lines. All of time and space outside of space, where does it end? And I think there's a few other things we may have seen elsewhere as well. So how does that help us answer the question? Well, it doesn't. Another hint that we have is the quotes from the owls, which I also managed to find on a wiki. So one of them says, a point of origin, after and beyond. Another one says, hexahedron, octahedron, dodecahedron, her sacred geometry. Another one says, the many are one, the one is many. And the last one says, the 13 circles, the 64-bit name of God. So how does that help us answer the question? It kinda doesn't. It sort of does, maybe. The only thing that I can draw out of this is that seems like it would be a clue, is the 64-bit name of God. Hey, there's some guy. What are the letters on the back of the pages good for? I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to decipher it. That's what the whole book says, but... So, the only thing that I can... What the heck? Get back up there. Garcia, don't tell me anything. Don't give me hints. I know the answer. Don't bother. I know you just want to help, but you have a very big problem with helping without me asking for help. I know you just want to help, so I don't want to hold it against you. But please. Again, I know the answer anyway. I'm trying to figure out how to rationally get to the answer. So what do we have as clues that could lead us there? And given the hints that we have. So we start with the 64-bit name of God. So what we get is the name of God. We know that's the name of God. 64 bits, I believe, means 8 characters. Or at least I would assume that, whether or not that's true. Would that be true? So 64 bits. But a character is 8 bits. Yeah, and 8 times 8 is 64. So yeah, that would be an 8-letter... So the name of God, that is 8 letters long. There are a few hints that you can use to kind of get you to this. Just thinking, well, what is a name of God that is 8 characters long? We also have 2 hints, which is, my first half is what it is, my second half is half of what made it. And so here's as best a hint as I can give. We're looking for an 8-letter name of God. There are only so many names of God that are 8 letters long. My first half is what it is. We're looking outside the game at this point. We're looking for real information wherever we can find it. That's meta. Second half is half of what made it. What made it? The company that made this game is Polytron. Half of what made it? Tron. An 8-letter name of God. Metatron. If there is more that can be led to that than what I did, I could not immediately tell you. But the answer to this is Metatron. Which means now we have to spell Metatron. So I need an M. Gimme an M. You're an M. Gimme an E. You're an E. Actually, I'm gonna grab you first. And get you the heck out of the way so I can spell over here. T, give me a T. You're a T. Actually, you know what? You're a T too. Give me an A. Is there another A? I'm kind of using that A. Give me another T. Give me an R. Or an R. Give me an O. I think you're an O. Yep, you're an O. Give me an N! You're an N. You're already an N. Cool, there's more to it than that. Can you spell it from the side? I think I have to spell it both ways. Do we have enough... Do we have the appropriate letters to spell it on this side? No. How about this side? No. There's no M. There's no M on this side either. So we have an M here, it's this one. which is also our A. Okay, I'm gonna grab all of these and I'm gonna scoot them over. You get back over there. Why are we spelling out the voice of God's Archangel? Because that's the solution to the puzzle. Explaining exactly why it's the solution to the puzzle is difficult, and I'm only mostly sure about about the logic leading to it. Okay, so this is an M. It is an M, right? Yeah. That's an M. Do we have another M anywhere? Here. But that's on the backside of a character that I need. Which means this one cannot be this particular character. It could be the N. Going 3D, what's on top of the blocks? Nothing. Just blocks. Okay, I can only hope that just doing this enough will eventually kind of heck it up. So, we need the other M, which is this one. Get in the hole. Oh, now I've gone confused. Oh, it's not that they want slightly different blocks to say the same thing. They want it spelled out in both directions. So they want this to say Metatron, but also this. So we have an M here. Okay, no, that's our M here. Did I, like, not rotate it right here? Okay, we have an M, and then if I rotate this way, we have an M. You are going all the way over here. I'm so squishy. Okay, you can go somewhere else. So M. Next up is E. We do not have an E on this side. We have an E here. Wait, we only have one E. Am I misunderstanding the puzzle? I've got to be misunderstanding the puzzle. Because there's only one M. Or no, there's only one E. Okay, maybe this isn't as complicated as I'm making it. T, I need an A. Who knows where I put that A? M now. That's an A. Okay, fine, don't go in your hole. A T. That's you. Dang it. I hacked up. Okay, you just sit down over here. Okay. M-E-T-A-T-R? That is R. O, you are indeed O. And N, you are indeed N. Okay, so maybe it's just like this block. Okay, just go over here somewhere. How did I heck up the order by doing that? Okay, we have M up front. So this one is E. Yeah, I think probably the easiest thing is going to be to do this with them spread out. M-E-T-A... T... You're not T. R... You are, however, R. Okay, we looking good? Okay, that is correct. So this one also needs to be furthest on the left. Cool. This one needs to be next. Why you do this to me? So I'm pretty sure I know what's happening. It's because when I step on the other cube, it puts me to its, like, Z-plane. There, go over there. There. Okay, looking good so far. So M-E-T-A. That is not, however, the fourth one. Yeah, we did it! All they wanted was for them to be in order. They didn't even have to be next to each other. I found, what is this? I don't even... Cool, we sure did find something. Heck yeah. Okay, the remaining two should be relatively easy to execute. Unlike that one. Okay, so we want to go back to Big Teleport. Now, from Big Teleport, we want to go all the way up here. So we want to actually get to the teleporter. Is it this one? Yes. Okay, so we are going to the observatory. Man, why's that thing gotta be right there? I gotta be there. I gotta be right there. Yeah, there's being obtuse, and then there's these. Admittedly, these are like super post-game puzzles. These are not expected for regular completion of the game. And are probably intended to be worked out with others. Come on, my dude. I didn't even move and you sucked me in. I don't know if it's getting closer to nighttime or dawn. I think it's getting closer to nighttime. You should not leave the room as unsolved. That's true, I think. Just leave those rooms as, yeah, there's stuff going on here. Figure it out. Closer to nighttime or not? Maybe it's just the middle of the day. Well, I'll take this opportunity to look up the solution to this one because this is going to be significantly... It should be significantly easier. Okay, this kind of tells you, but it still doesn't tell you as nicely as whatever the other thing was that I found. I swear I found something before that did a really good job of like giving a hint. Or I shouldn't say giving a hint, but like explaining what's going on. I think one of my least favorite things on Steam is when you see complete video walkthrough. Because, like, videos are helpful, yeah, but you literally, that's not a walkthrough. You literally just played the game, uploaded the video, and then linked it on Steam. Like, that's only a hair's breadth away from just trying to, that linking your video on Steam for, like, to try to get views. Yeah, again, it's not telling me how you get it. I kind of know how you get it. Did I find this somewhere else? Maybe it wasn't a... Maybe it wasn't a Steam guide that I found that solution. Okay, well, regardless. I can't figure out where I learned it. Oh, there we go. Finally, we're changing color. That's a good evening. Okay, so looking in the upper left-hand corner, you can see two little lights blinking. Left, 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 right, left, left, right, right, left, 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 right, left, right. So what you have to do, there, you can see it a little more clearly now. You have to write down the sequence. This is a very long sequence. There eventually comes a point in the pattern with a very long pause. That's your beginning and end of the sequence. You may have to write the sequence down several times in order to get the entire sequence. You cannot see the entire thing in one evening. Once you have this entire massive sequence, I was originally thinking, oh, that just means left-right. So you back out and then you go rotate left, rotate right. You just do that until you solve it. No, that's not it. It is both simpler and more complex than that. You have to interpret it as binary. There's your big pause. You have to interpret it as binary. Left is 0, right is 1. When you're done, you have a very long sequence of binary. This binary can then be interpreted as and read as characters, which moves to left trigger, right trigger, left trigger, right trigger. This gives you the actual solution which is right, left, left, right, right, left. that's that. And also, Nakabo's hecked up. Why is Nakabo hecked up? I'm willing to bet it has something to do with me messing with a date. Okay, we're back. Okay, and that leaves us with one tiny little room. Anything down there to grab onto? Not really. Oh, isn't there a short form teleporter over here? Yeah. And we want to go, I think, here, because we're just going back to the main hub. Yep. Good, good, good. And that brings us here. So we have been, this is where we started today. And as I said before, this is a two-part puzzle. The first part was getting the monolith to show up, which we did, legitimately. Solving the second part of the puzzle is notably more complicated. And by notably more complicated, I mean no one has ever legitimately figured out how to solve the second part of this. It has been resolved purely through brute forcing. There are a few theories about what it could be, but even the theories all are kind of a stretch. So what do we need to do? Align yourself so that you're standing on the center square with a line running through it. That's that one right there. Okay, we're back again. And then what people have figured it out is... What? You're not giving me a legit code. Yeah, that's not a real code, my dude. There we go. Okay, it is a real code. They just wrote it as ADD when it's rotate left, rotate right, so it's like left trigger, right trigger instead. But it's down, down, rotate left, rotate right, jump, up. How do we know that? How do we know that that's the solution? Because it works. We don't know why. And I think it even took one of the devs, like, kind of... at not giving it away, but at least answering a few very vague questions. How many inputs was the code? I think it was 8. So we are heading back to Lighthouse, right? No, we're heading to Bell. Now there's the Bell. Okay, we're heading to Tree. Also keep in mind, we didn't even know it was 8 to start. The couple answers that were given, I think, were that it was in fact 8 characters long, and that there were no repeating buttons. I think those were, if memory serves, those were the 2 hints given by the dev. And even then, that has to be brute forced manually. You can't, like, set up a computer to do that. I mean, I guess you kind of can. But what the community did, once they knew that, was they figured out... somebody wrote a script on a website that listed all possible options. And then everybody went to that website, started at a different point, tried an option, and then checked it off the list. So everybody, the whole community, was slowly working through this pattern, and I still think it took like a week. Okay, that's not where I'm going. That's where I'm going. And now with all 3 hearts... I don't know if there's anything I'm supposed to do, but I can't reach it. Oh, you just rotate really fast? Am I supposed to do something here? Or do I just have them now? Okay, if there's something else we gotta do... Literally all I'm seeing is that I'm supposed to take a screenshot. That's what everybody is saying. Do I have to have the Steam overlay equipped? Turned on? It's kind of nuts. That's literally all I'm seeing from like 3 different people. There's a code you can do that kind of trashes everything and resets the game. Yeah, so what I'm seeing is there is a code that you can put in, and you have to like go on the menu and then do a bunch of weird crap, and it kind of just like destroys the heart and then exits the game or something, and then if you come back the heart's still gone. And I think the only way anybody found that code was by decompiling the game. Like, there's something you can there's something technically that you can do, but it's not an intended puzzle. There is, strictly speaking, no reward for this. There is a second ending that you can get by completing the game with all 64 cubes and anti-cubes, which we got before. The 3 heart cubes, there is no reward for. The 3 heart cubes exist strictly as a bonus challenge for clever players and the community. Your reward is having solved them. Seeing this heart is your reward. And it's proof that you have done the thing. Which is why people suggest taking a screenshot here. Because if you can take a screenshot of this, that means you have solved every puzzle in the game. Really? Wow, that tree is hecking up. How you doing there, buddy? I kind of figured the nega space would fix itself once we got all the cubes, but here we are. No, not where I'm trying to go. Not sure why I thought that was where I was trying to go. Not trying to go to the lighthouse. Oh. So really the only thing left for us is just to beat the game again. It's 2D world, that's Tech Place. I think this is Future Town. That's alright, we can jump real high. Okay, those two are just far away from each other no matter what, which means I gotta get on this right one. Don't think this is gonna get any closer no matter what. Bird. That's all the cubes. Okay, we can go first person. Now let me get to the top before I'm too far away. Crap! I think I made it! Oh, there's more than one. There's a lot more than one. That was like, hey, here's your world. There are multiple worlds. All within this. There are a monumental number of worlds within this hypercube. Also, there are a monumental number of hypercubes. Did we fix the rips in the time-space continuum? I don't know, man. I barely understand what's going on in this game. I think we're just here to have a good time. Heck, the hypercube was even just like, sup, dude? Welcome to the club. Here's a complimentary hat. So this is a very interesting game. Like, you can absolutely see why. You can absolutely see why the game was as big as it was. It's charming. It's pretty. It is a very good game with a very interesting mechanic to it. Especially at the time this game came out. When this game came out, indie games weren't as big a thing yet. Nowadays you see, like, games are coming out a dime a dozen. But this was a big deal when this came out. And it's obvious why. This is one of those games that I somehow never played when it was fresh and big. So I kind of feel like I've been missing a part of my, like, gamer pedigree. So I'm very glad that I'm very glad that I have taken the opportunity to experience it. All things said, there were a lot of interesting areas, there were a lot of neat places to go, a lot of very neat puzzles to solve. I really want to, like, screenshot this area. So I can tell how it's different. Adventure is ready. It's Gomez time. So we've read this before. I'm going to assume it's not any different. Oh yeah, let's play with some 3D glasses. Let's go! I unfortunately don't have any 3D glasses. Though I am very curious if this appears as a 2D space, or if you can actually see three-dimensional depth. Yeah, this was definitely, like, the big thing at the time. I think somebody before said it was kind of the next big indie game after Cave Story, which is saying something. And yeah, Phil Fish is a very... He's a very person. I think one thing that certainly does not help his case is that he will say things that he does not mean, but he will say them that as though he does. And sometimes I'm not confident he knows that. Yeah, but with that said, I'm still very glad that we got to play through it. I think if I have any thoughts, I thought the game would be bigger. Like, looking at the map here, so right down here at the start, in this little hub room, we came in and we saw the different doors with like, hey, you gotta collect this many cubes in order to go through this door. But then you go up this way and you start exploring out into all of this. And I certainly did get to a point where I was exploring everything out here that I was thinking, like, I'm getting way over my head out here. But I kind of always thought that the different doors out of this area were going to lead to whole areas like this. And maybe they would connect. Like, maybe if I went far enough in one direction, it would lead me to, like, a back door, almost, coming out of another one of the doors in this room. But then after I finally explored everything, and I was like, okay, finally, we're gonna go back, and we're gonna look through those other doors. I was expecting almost everything that's up here again outside of either one of these doors. And as neat as it was to get like lore and the other characters in the little towns and whatnot, and like, oh yeah, they're parallel towns to our own. As neat as it was to get that, I was honestly kind of disappointed. I was expecting like almost the whole game again. And instead it was just like, yep, sure is a little town with like 5 little rooms in it. It's one of those things, and I think I kind of experienced it. I also experienced this playing through The Witness not long ago. Yeah, and admittedly, I don't know if I would have wanted this to be that large. I feel like it would have become way too cumbersome to travel around, to get to places, to like get those odd little things that you missed. And there are only so many puzzles when you don't really have any way of interacting with things. Like, I guess you can pick up and place blocks, but otherwise you just rotate the screen. So I feel like the amount of game here was appropriate. On one hand, I feel like I want it to have been bigger. But I don't know what they could have done to make it bigger without and staying interesting and innovative. But this is a similar problem that I ran into with The Witness, which kind of is another one of those games that I kind of missed when it was initially released. I went back not super long ago and said, I'm gonna play through this. And I did. And kind of in the same vein, it was... I almost want to say, given that it has felt like such a monumental game, It has felt so impactful that when you actually go back and play it after hearing about how huge it was, to find that, like, kind of, this is all it was. I feel like had I played it first, I would have said, this is amazing. But after all the hype has already been built up and then I play it, you hit that wall at the end and you kind of go, I mean, yeah, that was good, but, like, that's all there was. And this is kind of, again, the kind of same thing that happened when playing through The Witness. For as much as it was hyped up, I got to the point where exploring that little island that I went, oh, that's the whole island. For as much as everybody talks about this and talks about how complex it is and how deep it is and how there's little things everywhere, it made it feel so much larger than it actually was. And maybe that's also speaking to how impactful it was for people to play it the first time. That it felt that big. Honestly, I could probably say something similar in my own experience, something like Super Metroid. When that game came out, playing it fresh, it was huge. And going back and playing it now, I mean, granted, I know the game like the back of my hand, but it's like, yeah, that's all there is. That's it. That's there. And on the note of the game actually reaching its puzzly limits near the end, rather infamous moment we're at, I don't know if it was a Game Awards or what, but where they announced Fez 2. And not very long after that, Phil Fish got into either an argument or was criticized by some journalist online or whatever. And Phil Fish, of course, responded by that by saying, "That's it, no more Fez 2. I'm leaving the industry." And that's always chalked up as this moment of, like, absolute pettiness on his part. And it has been clarified by himself, like Phil Fish himself has clarified afterwards, that that one guy, that one criticism was not actually what canceled Fez 2. The short of it was he didn't really want to make Fez 2 in the first place. He felt like he did everything with the game that he wanted to do. There was nothing else that he really wanted to explore. No other mechanics or anything of the sort. Like, he had done everything that he wanted to do. He didn't want to make Fez 2. And the only reason he had even considered the idea was because of the success of Fez 1, and, like, I don't know, his publisher was like, dude, you gotta capitalize on this. So he's like, fine, I guess. So the There was no development of Fez 2. There was no planning. There was no blueprint of a game to be. There was nothing. There was literally all that he had no ideas, no concepts, no nothing. All he had was, I guess I'll do it, and he made the title. And then it was, as soon as he got that blowback from the journalist or whatever it was about it, because he went through kind of the same back and forth with criticism. He does not take criticism well, but he went back and forth through that and mental health and what have you through the development of the first game. So it was as soon as the guy... Yeah, it wasn't, I'm canceling it because of this guy. That guy criticizing him was just what made him go, I didn't want to make this game in the first place. I have no ideas, no planning, and I don't want to go through this again. He said that journalist was not the reason he did it, he canceled it. It was just a convenient out. And, like, on one hand, do I kind of wish there was a Fez 2? Of course. Because this was a game that I very much enjoyed playing. A very charming game. Very charming world. And I would love to have seen more of that. But that's also a... What's the word? An idealized view. Like, yes, there's something yes, I want that. But what I want is that perfect experience. I want to experience this again. I want to have these same revelations again. And that's not necessarily what you're gonna get. You may have got, like... I want an ideal. And you're not going to get that. And hey there, Kaiser! Things going well. We just finished up, and I think I'm about ready to wrap up for the evening. Yeah, like, would I want a sequel? Sure. But what I want is that ideal sequel. What would I have gotten? Given that he had no passion to make a sequel and no ideas for it, I'm sure we would have gotten garbage. Yeah, exactly. Man, Outer Wilds was great. I want more. But someone has to make 2. It doesn't just magically appear. And would it measure up? The closest we've gotten, and I feel like the closest we will ever get, and probably the closest we need to settle on getting, is the Outer Wilds 2, or is the Outer Wilds expansion. Was it Echoes of something? Which was phenomenal, by the way. I legit nearly cried at the end of that expansion. I could feel it welling up. Yeah, reason you don't want Mega Man Legends 3? No, I get that. I legit get that. Honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, without trying not to spoil as much about the Outer Wilds bit as possible, when you, like, meet the dude, and there's that brief, like, recap, almost, of everything leading up to that moment, what seeing that and learning that would have meant to that guy. Oh my goodness. I'm like about tearing up just thinking about it. But, like, yeah, I mean, I feel you on Mega Man Legends 3, though. I feel like the story was completed. Like, they finished the story. They wrapped it up. And, like, people have argued, yeah, but they left Mega Man on the moon, or whatever. And, okay, they're getting him back. That's not a game, though. And that was a joke ending of 2 anyway. Like, we've revealed the mysteries. We know what's going on in the world. We know what happened in the world. We know the story. We know who we are. Like, that story is complete. I don't know what could be done with a 3. The only thing I can even begin to consider with a 3 is tying it to one of the other Mega Man franchises. Because there are timelines out there, and I don't know if Legends is actually connected to anything. I know there were some rumors for a while about it being connected to one thing or another. I remember a friend who theorized that it was connected to, it was like the distant future of Mega Man X. And, like, the Master is actually Zero. But yeah, like, the only thing that I can think of is tying it to some other franchise. Like, maybe if there's something that happens after Legends, you would have to introduce maybe the Cataclysm or whatever that changes the world so that the other game can happen. That's like the only thing that I can think of. Because the story within Legends, the story's done. Yeah, like that was a theory my friend came up with. And admittedly he came up with that theory when, like, after playing through Legends 2, which I'm pretty sure is before the ZX series or even existed. But yeah, I feel like that's all they could do. They would have to introduce some external cataclysm or something that would change the world in a dramatic way in preparation for maybe a new series. Like maybe going from the X series to the Zero series kind of cataclysm. And if it doesn't change the world in any way, then you've made a meaningless sequel. Now you've made a status quo game. And, like, now there's not really any story. All the characters are done. You introduce a new villain, we fight the new villain, end of game. Well, we can chat all night. How do I turn this off? There we go. Hey. Well, all said and done, this has been Fez. I'm going to get some sleep. Tomorrow, more Backworld. Probably going to finish the demo. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out.